Welcome everyone to Aircraft Carrier aka CV-101 in World of Warship Blitz. My name is Starbuck and let's get this show on the road. Today's review is the USS Independence. This is your Tier 6 CV in the US tech line and it will be your introduction to fighters. With your experience from the USS Langley and the USS Bogue, you are now knowledgeable in dive bombers and torpedo bombers. Now is the time to learn how to use your fighters. Word of warning, you won't be getting any clear sky medals at this tier as of yet. With 3 weak fighters, forget it. But with every plane you can shoot down, it is less threats to your team and less damage from the enemy CV. Also, now having fighters, you also have an extra set of planes that you can use to scout the map. At this tier, you must know that every action you take counts towards the overall battle. You are now matching against also some strong oppositions, ships with better anti-aircraft, especially when dealing with Tier 7 ships. Your decisions will start affecting the course of battles as of now. For the elite bonus, we're looking at the elite ground service to reduce the preparation time for all of our planes. The faster the turnover of your planes, the faster you can send them out again and the more damage you can do. The other options are just absolutely pointless. You don't need extra speed on a CV, and the XP bonus that World of Warship Blitz provide is a total WTF option. For the equipment, in the first slot, your options now become a little more complex. At this tier, I still prefer Ground Service System Modification 1 to continue reducing your preparation time. Since you are in Tier 6, most of your games will still involve Tier 5 and Tier 6 ships, and the anti-aircraft on these tiers is still rather weak compared to those found at Tier 7. In the second slot, I have chosen Air Defense Modification 2. This increases your CV's anti-aircraft damage. This choice was made as my fighter strategy is to pull the enemy fighters over my CV. The faster the enemy planes fall, the faster I can re-engage my fighters against enemy dive bombers and torpedo bombers. And finally, in the last slot, I continue to put Torpedo Defense Modification 1 just to stop damage from those horrible CV snipers. The extra defense just wastes more of their time in shooting me down. With these explanations over, let's jump into battle. This battle is a nice Tier 5, Tier 6 match. I must warn you, however, that it isn't the best of my abilities with my fighters, but it remains interesting nevertheless. So, the battle map is Bay of Storms, massive island down the middle. Here, I'm really going to try and show you how to use your fighters effectively. So, at the start of the battle, I'm already starting to move slowly. Fighters, always first those fighters. You want to get them up ahead of the rest of your planes. Then, as I've explained previously, I just send out my dive bombs. I really want them to be the first to impose damage. So, pressing the return home button, I've hopefully baited those fighters. But it would seem that I didn't, and I didn't notice it fast enough. There's the Omaha. I'm sending those Omahas. In they go. Will we get a fire chance? It seems that I would have missed. So, repositioning my torpedo bombers, and I'm sending my fighters to attack his bombers. So, interesting start. The destroyer's on the other side. I'm hoping my team sorts this out. Can I get a hit here? That Omaha is doing a good job at dodging me, and at the same time, my fighters are doing their best that they can. So here we are. I'm tapping just behind the enemy planes in order to bring them down as fast as possible. There's one kill, maybe potentially two. Am I going to be that lucky? Yes, there we go. And I'm carrying on. But here I've noticed that the enemy fighters have been baited. So what do? I bring them back over me. I slow down my ship, waiting for the fighters to come back over, so then they can be shot down as fast as possible. So here we go. In dogfight, that means they're being engaged and fighting. I keep shooting, I keep shooting. There we go, 2 and 3. So, there we are. Unfortunately, the Altonic has fallen, which means that the left-hand side is a little weaker. I'm going to continue assisting my teammates here on the right. And there's a flood on the Congo. So that damage is going to start continuing over there. I'm making sure my visibility stays open. But I'm also keeping my fighters ready for position against the enemy CV. I still haven't noticed any new planes coming out, but I'm going to keep them on a continuous movement just to make sure that I'm ready to counteract his movements. So it's not going too well for us at the moment. Not a mess, but I've decided to help my Kirov and my Fuso down at the bottom, believing that they seem to be struggling a little bit as it's going to be 2 versus 2, so might as well give us the upper hand in this situation. I've also sent my fighters to keep visibility on that destroyer in the left hand side of the map. So here we are, there's the Koenig, getting himself nice and ready, and now I'm being shot at from the Congo. However, I'm in a position where I'm going to make the most of my movement. I'm not staying still, I'm continuously moving, trying to get myself in better positions. So, with my dive bombers gone, I'm attacking the Congo, hopefully going to set it on fire, as most of my team are really struggling. I'm telling them that I need help because I'm being overrun on the capture point. My fighters have had to be returned, only one down, there's no point of it dying. Might as well send it out on a full squadron to keep the visibility up on that destroyer. So I'm going to keep focusing on this Kirov as it keeps putting pressure on our capture point. Hopefully this Omaha can assist me without dying. I have no idea what's going on down at the bottom of the battle, but at the moment our top priority is this Congo. It's on fire. I know I also set it on fire earlier, which means it's the prime occasion to really maximise our damage against him. So there's the visibility on that destroyer. The Omaha's fallen, the capture is going, and there we are. Not only he has 2 fires and a flood at the same time. I was able to send that wave attack because I knew he had used his repair kits. I was going to get maximum damage out of that situation. So, next target now. Well, that Hippo is pretty low, so I need to ignore him. But what about that Emerald? My Dunkirk, that friendly battleship on the left there, is struggling. How can I assist him? Well, I keep that visibility on the destroyer. Yes, the Independence planes are still weak nonetheless for the situation. Okay, so I'm still going to focus on the bigger targets. That's a cruiser and battleships. Okay, it would seem in this game, unfortunately, I can't show you to the best abilities, but the enemy CV has given up. Okay, maybe my fighters scared him, who knows. So here we are, the Emerald's coming in. I'm repositioning my torpedo bombers. This is going to be a lovely attack at the same time. So unfortunately dive bombers miss, but my torpedoes don't. And I'm still keeping that visibility on that destroyer. Now, a very worrying situation here. There's a New Mexico coming. My Dunkirk is on very low health and he's about to take in a whole load of torpedoes. How am I going to cope with this catch point? Especially with 2 minutes left in the game. They can capture and win this game. So it's all about now kiting the enemy. As a CV, you're able to kite. You have to always be moving around. You can't just stay in one spot as a CV. You have to be close to the action. So my planes here are nonetheless coming in and out very, very quickly. Do I go for the Fubuki or do I go for the New Mexico? Well, the New Mexico is full HP. What's the point in going after it? Might as well go after that Fubuki. So, here we are, going to get a nice load of torps into him. 1 dive bomber and a flood. Brilliant. I need to make sure that I stay invisible at all costs. This will... They could easily win the game here if I'm brought down. I've just got to hold on for 1 minute. As we're capturing now their point, they can't win by capturing just our point. So, I just need to stay alive. Yes, I find myself stuck, but I'm in a position that I can dodge and move. This is great movement. I must compliment myself in this situation. I've really prepared myself well for these 2 ships to attack me. I'm high on health, very little issues for me in this situation. So, I keep attacking that Fubuki. I know he's flooded, I know he's used the repair kit, maybe I can get lucky. There's my proof. Good dodge by that Fubuki on my torps. You see, my dive bombers completely missed. I was very unfortunate there. But, once again, this is why at these tiers, at the moment, especially with the US tech line, just forget about trying to talk them. So, dodging and weaving the Fubuki. There he drops his torps. Done very well. And there's 10 seconds left. And I know that there is no problem. We have won this game. Don't need to use the repair kit. It's only 1 fire. But of course, the minute there is, and those would have probably killed him or heavily damaged to a point where my guns could have finished him. And there we are. Starbuck, MVP. Wonderful game with the USS Independence. Now it's time to look over some of the result screens that are available. This first screen here is all about looking at the comparisons of how I did well in this situation. So by keeping high visibility on the map and choosing and selecting my targets to help my team to the best of my abilities, I was able to concentrate a lot of damage and focus. Yes, my team did a very poor job. Look at that Kira off of that Turnik and that Omaha. Less than 6,000 damage each in such a battle. It's unforgivable. But at the same time, look at the enemy. Yes, they might have done more damage per individual, but their damage was spread out to the wrong ships. They hadn't focused the correct targets. In this results screen, we're going to have a little look at the difference of how we have worked, and especially in this case, once again, the torpedo damage has outdone the bomb damage. At this tier, the USCB's bombs are just a little bit weak. You've really got to rely on that torpedo cone hitting your targets, because in this situation, I've had 3 floods. That's another more or less 10,000 damage from flooding, on top of the 25,000 damage from the torpedoes themselves. When you start combining all of these different elements within your gameplay, you're going to really affect the enemy's situation with their HP. I mean, I've got 3 kills here. Yes, I was a little bit sneaky on some of the targets, but nonetheless, I was really focusing the damage. Now, as you can see, I've got 6 aircraft destroyed. Those waves, that single wave attack that CV sent out in the end was a little ineffective, but I made sure that I was focused on those fighters, and I showed you that baiting tactic of the fighters to bring them back over your carrier and then shoot them down with the AA. That's it for today's CV's class. I hope with this information you've learned a few new tips and tricks and are ready to join battle with me or against me in World of Warship Blitz. Until next time, this is Starbuck.